Me acaban de pasar una lista de Thunder Dragon. Sí, dragones de trueno. Que está usándose para contrarrestar al meta. Veremos. Punto número 1. Si es humo o si de verdad es una baraja buena. Y por aquí que hizo un X1. Supongo que sea en un regional, en un torneo grande de tienda. Ya que le han hecho el profile, así que lo vamos a ver ahora.
Going on YouTube, it's your boy Smile, man. Smile. I'm here with Alpha today, and Alpha actually went X1 at our. We just finished locals. All the boys are over there, but yeah, we went X1 today with none other than. This deck
Es una
still
lista de
exists and
60
it's crazy,
con
but, make sure to like
césped.
and subscribe because Alpha is a cute guy. And with that being said, Alpha, I'm gonna let you take over.
Yeah, sure. So we played Pure Thunder Dragon today. Honestly, I don't want to drive.
Pero siempre me decís que cuando haga los. Cuando analice listas lo ponga así, sin fallo. Y lo pongo en 1.25.
Too long, so I'm going to get into it. I'll fan out all the cards so you guys kind of get to see why I built the list exactly the way I did, because some things might look weird, but we'll talk about it more when we get into the profile.
Perfect.
So, the normal summon, we're on 3 Batteryman Solar. I think a lot of people might remember this. It's basically Armageddon Knight for Thunders. It spawns tokens, it creates bodies.
Sí, no, ese era la buena normal.
3 of the OG Thunder Dragon, very powerful card. Well, it's actually not that powerful of a card, but in this deck it's a very powerful card. 3 Thunder Dragon Dark, as well as 3 Roar, 2 Hawk, and 2 Matrix. So a lot of people when they cover this, obviously
No juega el dúo. El dúo era buenísimo, tío.
because this deck is just trying to play Colossus Turbo, right? With the new multi-army cards out and with all these crazy things going on with the hand traps, it's hard to build a really strong board. You know, playing dangers and chaos monsters, it's really hard to build like those like giant negate boards now. So I'm like, okay, so my opponent march armies me. What do I want to do? I just want to make Colossus Ash, essentially. And so that's why I'm just playing like thunder monsters that.
A ver, es una buena estrategia. De freno. Crossovas. ¿Y este K-Popper dónde salió? Pues no lo sé, bro. Pues no lo sé. Luego le pedimos un temita. A ver, el inicio. Batteryman para mandar uno de los niveles 6/5 para luego retirarlos. Espero que jugara un motor muy grande de Chaos porque parece un deck bastante grande. Y el dúo se me hace muy duro no jugarlo porque te daba recovery. A ver, sí, a ver, juega Matrix para poder tener un trigger del titán. ¿Sabes? Aparte que el factor de que sea nivel 1 a mí me parece muy bueno para conectar un posible anima. A mí me gustaba mucho la Matrix. Y tenemos que ver que hay veces que es una normal decente. Acompañar, quiero decir, por sí sola no.
If I get Charmed on that, I can just turn a Batteryman Solar into a Colossus, and that's my board, right? So Colossus Control is the name of the game, and all of these accomplish that very easily.
Ah, el Colossus te lo compro si no hay jatas. Gracias por la publi, bro. Mana Vortex, mejor tienda de España.
The reason I'm not on a heavy Bestial engine is because I'm on D-Shift.
Ah, antimeta. Esto explica cosas, ¿eh? A mí sí que me parece muy bueno maxear Bestials, tío. Más que nada porque te da una soltura de retirarte el Danger. Ahí el Danger no, el Thunder. Pero el problema es que de momento, en lo que es la lista, solo tenemos como opción el Batteryman, ¿sabes? Pero bueno, si Shifter está claro que es una carta win condition, que te vuelve one card combo el Batteryman. Entonces, pues sí, está bien.
That for that same logic about Molcharmy, since I can't play explosively, I'd rather just be sitting on Colossus plus D-Shifter. My opponent can't do anything, and I hit them with like a 2,000 plus monster over and over again, right? I just found that these 3 made the most sense. These can easily be sided out, swapped out, whatever. They're also just independently powerful cards, as well as 3 Ash Blossom. Again, just playing around the Charmies, and it's just generically good. These are all the monsters we play. As you notice, we don't play any Levianeers, no Chaos Armageddon. There's no really big bomb card, which is unfortunate, but because this deck can feel bricky for obvious reasons, we can't play those big bomb cards because we value consistently just making Colossus. Okay. We don't care about something the Levianeer would be great, especially because it's such a.
De momento, si me preguntas, me parece un poquito humo. Pero no sé si jugará más Engines, tío.
And then Colossus is also really good into this format. Not because, I mean, obviously, your opponent not being able to search is good, but it's also randomly good into Tempai because it just protects itself.
Yeah, actually, I'll take a moment to kind of like.
Cuenta Tempai está bien hasta que te tiran la drop. Son muy buenos los de Tempai.
You might be thinking, is 2 Colossus even that good when you just go double Colossus pass? The reason why it's good and bad is the only thing that really beats it is Dark Ruler No More, multiple Imperms, or really unfortunate Droplet, right? Like Droplet, you'd have to send a lot of cards. And on top of that, if you're under Shifter or Dimensional Fissure, which I'm on, your opponent can't really send monsters either.
Vale, está haciendo la de todo el cementerio no se usa, bro.
If they do, they have to spend a lot of cards, and sometimes your grind game is still pretty good. You know, if you play Pure Thunder Dragon, the grind game is really strong, and I'll get into that more a bit later. But as you can tell, I just get into Colossus very easily, and that's just how it goes.
Alure obligatoria.
Because you're on a lot of light monsters, but now that we have like D-Shifter as a dark hand trap plus Bishop and other stuff, it doesn't feel too bad, and it also lets you draw into some like really powerful non-engine, such as a Dimensional Fissure.
Oh.
Yes, it does feel great actually.
Es una Thunder Dragon anti-meta. Y ahora la carta que he visto me cobra más sentido, tío. Porque es que hay muy poco iniciador. Hay muy poco iniciador y sí. Si definitivamente si vas a jugar la versión de Thunder Dragon pura, tienes que jugar la Instant Fusion por huevos. Más que nada porque el titán, si tienes una fusión trueno, te retiras un Thunder de mano y se invoca directamente. Entonces te triggerea fácilmente los pricks que puedes llegar a tener. Aparte de ser un cuerpo fuerte, tema cross, sí.
Super Poly isn't like the greatest non-engine per se, but when you pair it with something like D-Fissure, it's actually not too bad, and there are decent enough things where you can.
Esta no te la compro, Super Poly no te la
Keep
compro.
in mind, your whole purpose is to protect Colossus, so Super Polying away different threats so they can't get rid of your Colossus is also really strong. On 2, the Instant Fusion, well, Instant Fusion and Ready Fusion, you could be on more, I'm only on 2 because you can't summon this with a Fusion Thunder monster, you summon Titan that way, so it's not the best starter, but it does get plays going, and individually.
Yo hubiera maximizado, En una pura no veo suficiente de tema iniciados. ¿Qué va, bro? ¿Qué va? ¿Para jugar Foolish Burial? O ate otra copia de la Ready, tío. Totalmente. Totalmente, quiero decir. Esto por sí solo. Vale, te compras si tienes Shifter. Pero ¿qué es más probable? Que tengas cualquier monstruo trueno con una mágica de invocar. O que tengas justo el factor de retirar. Uf, no tengo que comprar. Sí que es cierto que tienes la de recuperar. Pero no es la carta que más me está gustando, Ni de coña.
Like, pair with the solar, because whatever you dump, which is usually the gore, will instantly get banished, right? And then you get your play started out that way. Gold Sark, same reason.
Por supuesto.
Banish any of these, get the intended effect. Thunder Dragon Fusion, usually people are sometimes on 2, but 1 I think is fine because independently it is not the greatest card, but the grind game it offers is so strong, it's actually insane. You can theoretically infinitely make Titan every single turn with no restriction just with this one card, so it's incredibly powerful.
Pero eso es el primero de Thunder, tío. Sacas Titán. Siguiente turno. Te retiras la Thunder Dragon. Te añades el Roar. Roar te vuelves a recuperar la mágica de retirados y la tienes infinitamente. Pero a mí, sinceramente, que no juegue el nivel 8 me ha matado, Que no juegue el dúo siendo un bitter tan bueno que es en este deck. Uf. Eso yo creo que sean mis dos quejas iniciales. Pero ya veo por dónde va la estrategia del anti-meta,
Because I just needed a 40th card. It also just seemed to fit with the motive of trying to beat like all Charmies and all that stuff. And it's also nice. I know I talk about the Charmies a lot, but it's also nice that because Dominus Impulse is also a very popular hand trap right now. Again, we're not specialing something that much. Like a lot of these are just special off their own like kind of conditions, right? Inherent, right? So it's kind of like I summon Battery Man Solar. Let's say they impermanent. I'm like, okay, that's unfortunate. And then I try to go another effect. They Dominus Impulse it. I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate. They also Charming me. Oh, that's unfortunate. Okay. I go Thunder Dragon, search another Thunder Dragon, make Colossus, I pass. And if their hand is, by any standard, really good, they actually can't play the Colossus. Funny enough, right?
Eso es verdad, Si tienes opción de sacar Coloso por pasando las Moonsarmy y la Impulse.
For example, Engraver equipping Requiem to get rid of your Colossus is good. But when they have.
Hostia, brother, compañero.
They can't use it.
No estás viendo al pavo. Estás girando el ojo de lado porque te estás tapando con tu propio pelo, brother. Yo creo que esto ya es un problema. Sí, a mí Thunder Dragon me molaría que tuviese un soporte, tío, pero. Yo qué sé, en vez de hacer eso no es fácil, te pones el pelito para un lado y ya. Cabe destacar que yo tuve una época de pelo largo, Esa época, no sé si quedarán fotos de ella, pero bueno.
Yeah, right. So it gets tougher now, and you kind of apply that logic consistently with the other cards. So that's the main deck, 40 cards. It's a lot more lame than it's.
Mira, me gusta que sea de 40, tío. Eso te lo compro.
Dragons, I think they inherently are fun. The thinking you have to put into the actual Thunder Dragon monsters, like resource management, all that stuff, is very like. I think that's what's fun about.
Y Fisura tampoco la veo mal para hacer one card combo al Batteryman. Esa sí que te puedo llegar a comprar más.
There's nothing cool like that. It's just resource management. Yeah. Resource management is like the best way to describe pure Thunder Dragon, and I think that's a pretty fun playstyle. Cool. For the extra deck, we're on 2 Colossus. We can only play 2, so we're on 2 Titan.
Está a 2 el Coloso, porque pensaba que estaba a 3.
As long as you're again managing your resources very well, you don't actually need to go into the.
Yo creo que nunca usa un tercero.
So just to paint the picture for you guys. So when you make 2 Colossus, you might be thinking, well, how do you when your opponent outs them and sure you get to live a turn. Let's say you don't kill them, like what do you end on anymore, right? Well, let's say you have Thunder Dragon Fusion Engrave. It's not impossible for it to already be spent and engraved. This has an effect that during the turn that it wasn't. So except for the turn that was sent to graveyard.
Si retiras, añades.
Add any Thunder monster.
Y eso lo
a lure, and you can
descartas,
fetch
añades y
and
fusionas.
fetch back any Thunder Dragon card from your graveyard or banish. So in that case, you can get yourself a fusion. And fusion can tuck back basically anything for Titan. If you want to zoom in, it just says 3 Thunder monsters.
Yep.
Right.
Thunder Dragon Monster. Yeah.
So 3 Thunder Dragon monsters.
Yeah.
Right. So you can tuck back like both your Colossus, Titan itself, or another Titan.
Yeah.
As long as you have a pre-existing monster you can make in your extra deck.
Kind of like an infinite loop.
You can infinitely loop it. So as you can imagine, you should never be burning both.
Lo único que el titán, tío, se ha vuelto una disrupción muy mala. Ya era mediocre antes el petar 1, pero bueno.
That I don't own a lot of important cards for the format, so
If you had I know you don't have an SP. Spoiler alert. Would you play SP instead of
yeah,
Titan?
so SP is really good. When I get to the links, I'll tell you about it, why it's so powerful. But one common attack, that's for the instant fusion and the ready fusion.
Esto lo
I
ven
know
caro.
you just have one target for 2 cards in the main deck. I guess that's not too weird of a number, but because this really only helps you make into Titan, it can be tribute fodder because automatically this deck does like to tribute monsters for your big Thunder Dragons and turn those into Colossus instead. Again, it's very simple playstyle. It's nice. It's not like the end all be all to not have.
Lo que me da miedo es la barrier, tío.
As well, so Garura, Dragocepelia, Mudra.
Claro, sí, para Super Poli.
I know you can be on other ones like Loving Defender, whatever, whatnot. You can just choose those as you see fit. I just thought these made the most sense for what I thought I was going to face. And again, this one can flex into instant fusion as well.
Sí.
So it is
Pensándolo
pretty
bien,
nice in that
tío,
regard.
lo de el Foolish no se me hace tan mala idea porque jugando 3 fisuras y 3 shifter es más probable que abras una de esas dos, ¿eh? Quiero decir, el Foolish mirándolo objetivamente me está gustando ahora más.
Just to have a really fresh
Porque
one.
yo cuando estoy viendo las listas, tío, estoy como intentando ver qué utilización tiene para cada carta,
Round
tío.
one Anima, this deck used to be a Link
Anima,
Freebo and
correcto.
stuff, which was a lot better, but rest in peace to my boy Link Freebo. Anima is alright. You know, your opponent. It's not like your opponent isn't usually summoning into the Anima columns anymore. But I'm like, so like sometimes you have some of the weaker Thunder Dragons. So you have like, sometimes
Bueno, y para
normal
hacer SP,
Matrix,
tío,
link it
tampoco.
off into Anima, use Hawk to reborn the Matrix, and then summon the Colossus out. Should I explain how you make Colossus? I keep saying you make Colossus. Should I explain how you make Colossus?
You want to explain it quick? I mean, people haven't played this since like
Yeah, yeah.
2018.
So during the turn that you use a Thunder Dragon monster from your hand, so
A ver, compañero.
you know, you pitch the
Vale que tú pienses que el Coloso solo se juega en Thunder. Pero el Ritual Beast, mejor mazo del mundo, ya explicaba cómo se invoca así. Que tienes que hacer un turno en mano. El tema de la realidad, bro, te joderá, pero lo invocan más las Ritual Beast, el Coloso que las Thunder Dragon. Y esos son factores.
this to search this, pitch this to search it. All the things I've kind of talked about with the Thunder Dragon monsters. The moment you activate any of them from hand, you can turn any Thunder monster you control into a Colossus. It's kind of like you can essentially the alternate to Link was.
If anyone has ever played Corridor, that's how Corridor works. You use
Yeah.
Corridor effect in hand. To summon it,
Efectivamente.
and Corridor's a thunder, so you make it into that.
Yeah, exactly. I realize I've been talking so much about making Colossus without, and then there's might be some people who are like, how do you even, what does it mean make Colossus? So I'm sorry, but that's how you make Colossus. Activate any Thunder in hand. It's that simple. For other generic Link monsters, Dark, because it's a good Link monster. IP, sometimes you do actually end on IP. Oftentimes it's like 2 Colossus and an IP. So even though your Colossus might get negated by whatever means, you can at least flex IP into your SP. I mean Unicorn.
Guys play SP.
SP is really good.
Claro, porque
the
SP te
reason
puede
why
retirar lo
I'm not on
tuyo.
SP is because I don't own it. Bonanza hasn't come out soon enough. But SP is really strong because when you use it with, you know, an extra deck monster, it can banish not only stuff like on the field, it can banish from the graveyard as well. So there are turns where you're like, I can't do much except go SP pass here. But wait, the SP can go banish the Thunder Dragon monster from my graveyard, and that can get me the cards necessary to make, oh, spoiler alert, Colossus.
Colossus.
And go, if you go SP Colossus,
Sí, el
pass,
gameplay es
it's a
muy
lot
simple,
better
tío.
than just SP pass.
Pero yo aquí...
So, if you have
Espérate,
SP,
desenfocar extra, mira. Aquí, estos 3 slots, como una catedral, pero como una catedral, debería de llevar, tío, una cross ship. Cross ship la veo muy buena, sobre todo si estás jugando, en este caso, la... Me juro que puedes decir el nombre. Cross ship si estás jugando la System Fusion. Access Code no lo veo mal. Luego me plantearía si llevaría la Charmer de luz. Así directamente. No siento que, por ejemplo, contra Penis que juego en Fiesmith la veo decente. Y podrías llegar a plantear, tío... Es que teniendo un gameplay tan fácil, antiguamente tú con este mazo hacías Apolusa Titán de turno 1. Yo no veo descabellado, tío, el tema de la trampa con la Zurune. Lo único que está el Shifter. El Shifter es un counter bastante grande, pero podría igual llevar la otra trampa, ¿sabes? Pero siento que le falta un acompañamiento para que tu campo no sea únicamente, brother, una IP más coloso. ¿Sabes? Quiero decir, yo siento que se puede llegar a estirar un pelín más el turno 1. O incluso que estos slots sea la punta de abeja y el gordito de nube. Sí, a ver, también está el gordito de la nube. Es que de hecho esa carta me hacía gracia, tío. Mucha gente hizo cosplay. Pero sí, que hay opciones aquí que se pueden cambiar totalmente. Porque yo no creo que Super Poli sea la carta.
Utility link monsters are also very good. In theory, these do come up like Phoenix and Access Code, but I guess you might already know what these cards do because these are more recent. But I guess because I explained Colossus, I can also explain Titan. Titan has an effect that every time you use a Thunder monster effect from hand, it can then use its effect to destroy something on the field. So in that case, the quick effect ones are like disruptions because on your opponent's turn, you'll just use like a Thunder Dragon monster from your hand. It'll chain and try to pop something.
Güey, pierde timing el
But what's really
Capnon
nice is it's
por
not
sí
once per
solo.
turn. And a card that's also not once per turn is this card. I just threw my cards everywhere. Is this card. So
Sí,
imagine
añades uno, descartas, añades otro, descartas, luego te haces la de reciclar, metes todos. Yo te digo, siento. Ya está. El link rechoncho de la nube. Ese era un link, tío, que revivía trueno de cementerio. Y lo bueno de un link trueno es que lo puedes convertir en. ¿Cómo se llama, tío? Lo puedes convertir en coloso igualmente. ¿Sabes? Porque coloso te pide que no sea una fusión. Y aunque no tenga nivel, eso lo puedes convertir y estaba bien. Se usaba mucho, tío. Eso se usaba mucho en el inicio. Ahora ya ni idea. Vale, ahora ya ni idea. Pero por ejemplo, ya te digo, lo de reciclar y hacer múltiples pops con el Titan estaba a la orden del día.
He's throwing back, and I have a Titan on the field, right? I get to go, okay, go Thunder Dragon, effect to pop something, and I search one, right? I go again, effect to pop something, right? So I get 2 pops out of just one Titan.
Y luego
and if I'm
reciclas
really
y
good at
petas
doing
otros
it,
dos.
I can go Thunder Dragon Fusion, put these 2 Thunder Dragons back for another Titan, and then go again, pop.
Oh my god, wait, that's insane because you can just recycle them.
Yeah, you can recycle them, you can just pop infinitely, and you can clear board. So sometimes it's not as much as important as.
No, y aparte,
I mean,
con este mazo era muy importante hacer muchas veces buscar de uno en uno por tener 2 bichos en cementerio. Y poder, en este caso, darle. Que meta primero Regeki GG, hombre, no.
So not only are you building your own resources, like a big emphasis on building your own resources, there's a big emphasis on how you can deplete everything your opponent has set up. And again,
Sí, pero tiene un grindeo muy curioso, tío, la Thunder. La Thunder está a nada de que le den un soporte bueno y resurjan de sus cenizas, tío. Orcus tiene soporte, Sky... Le falta solo este mazo. Este deck.
So I just realized that one card I think is really popular, or a couple cards that are really popular with Thunder Dragon that didn't play was some Summer Summoner. That's like
Esta.
a 2 guy in like a mankini. That's actually like I think a pretty decent card. The only reason I'm not on it is because I enter a lot of games not assuming I'll be able to actually summon it as much as I want to. And I think it made a lot more sense when you have 3 Colossus. I think when you have 3 Colossus, you can kind of fiddle your way around to actually make it. So right now, I don't think it makes the most sense to play, but it's obviously like.
Sí, está bien, tío. Vamos al banquillo.
Doesn't have to be huge impact cards. Unfortunately, I think for this specific list, we don't get to play it. It's just more control, low to the ground type style. For the side deck, I just play generics. So 3D Barrier, 3 Dark Ruler, Lightning Storm, and Feather Duster. Judgment,
Sí,
which none of them
yo
match.
jugaría Breaker,
Actually, if
tío.
you don't look at them. 3 Cosmic Cyclone. I wouldn't say anything.
Yo jugaría Evenly. Con este mazo tienes que limpiar todo. Tienes que jugar a limpiar. Siento que está destinando demasiado poco para ir segundo y mucho para ir primero.
Particularly mandatory. I think Judgment makes the most sense.
Oh, this won you your last game. Your last round.
Yeah, Judgment's really strong because the thing that really punishes Colossus Turbo is stuff like Dark Ruler and etc. So you want to have protection for stuff like that.
No, y Droplet descartando trampa no suele ser muy común, tío.
So I thought like D-Barrier would make more sense.
Y juicio para el Pydra. Sí, no está mal, tío, pero
Destruction matters. All the fusions can banish stuff from the graveyard.
le falta Traya yendo segundo,
So
tío.
you don't have to
100%.
worry about your opponent going Regeki or Lightning Storm on them. So you only really care about the negation stuff.
Pero sí, a ver, sinceramente, ahora que tengo ya la lista ya vista. Juro, este es el deck anti-meta Thunder Dragon X1 Record noviembre de 2024. Mi respuesta es no. Mi respuesta es ni mucho menos. Que lo encuentre un mazo para pasártelo bien en el local y jugar típico deck de Shifter que no sea una Flunderis, una Tempai, una Ritual Beast. Pues mira, lo tenemos. Que creo que hubiera invertido más en el motor de Bestials. Totalmente, porque Regain es una carta estúpida, te da recovery. Luego, no entiendo cómo no juega Chaos Ángel, ¿vale? Esa es mi pregunta al millón. No sé qué hace sin jugar Chaos Ángel. Lo tienes gratuito con cualquier nivel 6, más el Battery Man. El Oak también te combas. Definitivamente no llevar Chaos Ángel es ser un poquito troll. Es un otro. Me pone nervioso que el amigo no pueda ver por su... Y así suele pasar. Gracias a Limit 0 por seguirnos. Pero sí, bueno. Esta sería la lista de cómo están jugando ahora mismo la Thunder Dragon para el formato actual de Yu-Gi-Oh! Yo ya he dicho, el concepto de anticementerio está bien, pero creo que apoyarte mucho los Bestials puede ser otro meta bastante bueno para jugar en el mazo. Dale like, comenta, suscríbete y pasa también por los directos. Nos vemos.